Monster or Cookie Cutter?
Well, if you're talking about modern metal bands, I think most of them are going to say, why not both? Alrighty then. No, that's Jim Carrey. Good morning, everybody. How's it going? It's Friday morning. I just got back from California. Had a real good time hanging out with Alex Nazla and the Spectre Digital crew. Just we're moving a few things along there. Gonna have some updates on that on the show real soon. Anyway, this is Friday, so that means it's time for SMG Viewers Comments, the show that's about you, not about me. So if you've got a comment or a question or something you'd like answered about recording guitars or metal in general, hey, leave it below. If it's cool, I'll try and put it on the show. So the first half of the show is responses to a lot of the comments I got on the review I did on the 5150 cabinet, because naturally anytime I have an opinion on anything, there's a million people who get pissed off about it. So thought I'd share some of those opinions with you right now.
I was working at the Orlando Arena as an apprentice electrical maintenance technician back in 1995 when Van Halen came through on their Balance tour. It was a dream come true for me to work that night because, like so many guitar players in their 20s back then, Eddie was my Hendrix. Anyway, Ed's tech at the time came up to me asking if I had some 16-gauge wire handy, so he didn't have to go to his truck to find his. They were running a little late at load-in and he was having to say time. He was replacing 2 blown speakers in one of Ed's PV cabs and wanted to solder in all new wire while he was at it. I was excited to help. I was an Eddie gear nerd even back then, trying to figure out his tone, and like everyone was. I brought the wire to him at his bench, and guess what I saw in Ed's PV cabinets? Yep, Celestia Greenbacks. Older ones at that. Not a Sheffield 1200 to be found. I'll never forget that afternoon. Great memories.
Hey, Axe Forever, thanks so much for sharing that story. I think that's very educational for all of us. It's been long rumored that Ed wouldn't actually put the Sheffield speakers into his PV cabinets. In fact, back in the Rosen Digital days when they were doing impulse responses, they had a chance to get their hands on one of Ed's personal amplifiers. And if you, I think it's in Lancaster right now, if you check out the profile for Ed's amp, it's a 5150 2x12. And there were some prototype speakers in there. They were not Sheffield 1200s. They were actually handwritten what they were, and they were definitely something new that nobody's ever heard. So yeah, that's a killer IR, by the way. And it definitely does not sound anything like the Sheffield 1200. Gotta say, yeah, what a disappointing speaker. Great cabinet design though, and it really shines when you put some better speakers in.
I didn't think it sounded bad, but I also think it could have been done in a context of a rock song, not a metal song.
Right, because Van Halen has never, ever in their entire history been associated with heavy metal. A Van Halen cab, who would have thought, running a metal tone through something with a Van Halen label on it would be a bad idea. Dude, you fucking even think about this shit before you write it? Van Halen was synonymous with metal throughout the 70s and the 80s, so naturally we're gonna try and put some fucking metal tones through some metal equipment. Duh! In fact, back in the 70s, they called Van Halen teeth metal. They were a glammier, more friendly kind of metal, but they were still ultimately metal. And they rocked the fucking house, especially in the Roth years. Eddie's got some very, very heavy riffs, like Unchained, that kind of thing. So naturally hoping to get that kind of sound out of a product with his name on, isn't that much of a fucking stretch? Crumb sakes, man, what are you gonna ask for next? Get him a sugar product and run some easy listening riffs through it? Seriously, give your fucking head a shake.
If you're a broke musician like me, don't worry too much about the cab. Focus on the head, whichever you're looking for. As Fort video, I agree, 5150 cab sounds like fried asshole from what I can hear. Acoustic cabs are cheap, but it gets the job done. If you're lucky, you may be able to get a used acoustic cab anywhere between 70 to 200 for a 4x12.
Dude, that is some fucking extremely bad advice. Seriously, this is the kind of nonsense I've been fighting against since this channel's inception. Here's the thing, all these tube heads, they're all variations on a theme. The Soldano, the Rev, the 5150 down at the bottom, the Synergy, they're all kind of the same, similar product. They have very slight different voicings and whatnot, but they're all gonna get you the same kind of result. The important part, the most important part in your tone is the fucking speaker. And that's the part we overlook so very much, because that's the transducer. That's what's transforming the electrical energy back into acoustic energy, and it's going to have a voicing to it. And that is critical to your sound. In fact, it's the most important part. So my advice is, even if you get a cheap cab for $100, drop some good speakers in. The EVHs from Celestion are phenomenal. You know, there's some really great WGS stuff out there that's absolutely killer as well. You know, the Veteran 30, the Reapers, they're all fucking awesome. And I just got this from Mojo Tone. I got like 4 boxes. They sent me a bunch of speakers to check out. I'm really curious what I got here. Because guitar speakers are where it's at. Because it's not the tubes, it's not the tone wood, it's none of that fucking bullshit. The tone is in the speakers. The speakers are the most critical part. So this is British Vintage from Mojo Tone. Wow, something that's not a Vintage 30. Although I'm guessing it might be voiced somewhat similarly because of the title. Let's see what we get. Is it a 70 watter? This is 30 watts. That is fucking heavy as hell too. That's kind of cool. We get like a cover for it. Check that out. So that's the British Vintage from Mojo Tone, and it's 30 watts, 12 inch, 16 ohms. No idea how this is going to sound. I don't know if this is going to be closer to a Greenback or a Vintage 30 or kind of have its own thing. I really do hope it has its own thing going on. I think they mentioned some of the effect. It's like kind of like a Vintage 30, except not as nasty in the top end. So this might be a really badass speaker. I've got a pair of these. They sent me like 3 other sets as well. You're going to see these on the show coming up. And we're going to start exploring some of the different tones when it comes to speakers, because that's really where the fun is. And once again, you can get yourself a dirt cheap cabinet. You can go buy yourself one of those crappy old Behringer cabinets because they're fucking amazing. Just change the speakers out and put something decent in, and you're gonna love the sound you're gonna get. Actually, that makes me think I should do a couple more videos on upgrading shitty guitar cabinets with used speakers, because I think that will be a very cool video to do as well.
Shows what you know about heavy guitar tone. I thought it sounded pretty decent. Well, that is right up until you Pepsi challenged it against the C Vintage 30. Yikes! Way better.
Yeah, the thing is, I didn't actually put it up against a Celestion Vintage 30. Unlike most metal musicians, I am capable of thinking for myself and trying something different. I used the new Celestion EVH speaker, which is basically an old school Greenback from the 60s. Those are fucking phenomenal and don't sound anything like a Vintage 30. Do you want to improve your guitar tone? Ask yourself this question. Have you tried thinking for yourself today?
Love the channel, but you're getting so niche. Isn't the band more important than the gear? Sure, a good band with good gear will sound good, but an amazing band will sound amazing through a coffee cup.
Getting so niche. Dude, last week I put out 7 ways to write better songs. That was pretty as general as it fucking gets. Duh! Have you tried paying attention? Fuck's sakes, I swear. I love the comments I get about that. I do one thing and then I get a comment saying, hey, you should try doing the thing you just fucking released. Fuck's sakes. Anyway, point being is, yes, a great band recorded through a tin can is going to sound great, but they're going to sound like a great band through a fucking tin can and could definitely use some improvement. I mean, like, I was just thinking about the track Hall of the Mountain King by Savatage. What a great piece of music, and really not the world's greatest recording. A better recording certainly would have definitely helped, in my opinion. You know, then again, they went on and did a handful of Rain a few years later, and that sounded fucking phenomenal. So yes, production can definitely help. And that's the whole point of the show, is to help people make better productions. It's Spectre Sound Studios. I don't know if you missed that part. On the little SMG logo there, right above it, it says Spectre Sound Studios. So that's kind of the focus of the show. Sorry that went over your head.
A fun video, but I'm most enamored with that bass tone. Massive, bell-like, beautiful.
Thank you very much, Alan Dean. We've got something very special coming out from Spectre Digital this spring. We're still putting the finishing touches on, and I really want to share this with you guys because I'm very proud of the product that's coming. It's designed for everybody who's recording at home and wants an awesome fucking bass tone and not have to drop tens of thousands of dollars to get it. Yeah, we designed this specifically with you guys in mind. I know you're gonna love it. I just can't wait to share it. We're still just gotta tweak a couple things before we can release it publicly, but stay tuned. I know you're gonna love it.
You are so wrong on this. The 5150 series was an affordable answer to the JCM 800, and the Sheffield speaker are indestructible as well as decent sounding speaker and made in the USA.
I'll agree with you on the first part. The 5150 was supposed to be an affordable answer to the JCM 800 and a far superior amp, in my opinion. However, no speaker is indestructible because they're made out of fucking paper! Dude, seriously, fucking what the hell are you trying to say? Oh, it's indestructible. How fucking dense can you be? Oh, and it's made in the USA, so it's obviously better. Yeah, I think Gibson has a thing or two to say about that. Made in the USA quality. Look, man, this is no longer the 1960s. The words made in the USA no longer equate with quality. We've got CNC manufacturing now. We've got all kinds of ways to do quality checks. And it really doesn't matter where it's made, whether it's made in Singapore or in the States or whatnot. What's going to matter is how dedicated the workforce is into ensuring that quality. So there's no real geographical monopoly on quality anymore, and please engage with reality and understand that fact. Thank you. Now, the Sheffields, unfortunately, are not decent. They're a terrible design. They just plain sound bad. It doesn't matter how you mic it up. It doesn't matter what you throw at it. They're just a fucking shit speaker. They are absolutely no better than the shitty fucking Jensen speakers that came in the Behringer cabs. They're just low fucking quality, inexpensive speakers they could fucking mass produce to get out to the masses. Once again, upgrade the speakers. You're going to be blown away by the results that you get, because that's the important part.
I have owned a 5150 cab since '94. I've never had a problem with a good tone. Also, I have to say that the tone you're complaining about sounds better than the ones I've heard you sing praises of.
Oh, thanks for writing in, Sean. I really appreciate that. First off, claims made without evidence can be dismissed without evidence. You didn't include a link to some of these awesome 5150 cabinet tones you're getting, so I'm just gonna call bullshit right there. Either put up or shut up. And here's a point I want to make very clear to everybody out there. Never ever mistake a contrarian for a critical thinker. They are not mutually inclusive. This is the kind of thing, it happens so often on this show, is I'll say I really like something and then all of a sudden it's like, your mix sucks, you suck, everything you do sucks, this is garbage. I give a critical review of something, hey, this is a fucking rampaging pile of dog shit, like the Sheffield 1200. Oh no, that's one of the best mixes you've ever got. That sounded amazing. You've got no idea what you're talking about. Half the people who made comments like that didn't actually bother to watch the third mix when I shot it out directly against the Celestion EVH, because that was the critical part where you can hear them back to back. And that's what we need to do to be able to evaluate a tone, is we have to be able to shoot it out against something else. It can't just stand on its own. You have to make a comparison to critically evaluate something. But about the contrarian thing, that just happens so often on this show. And honestly, all over social media. People just disagree for the sake of disagreeing and never actually bother to listen to what you really have to say. That, unfortunately, is the nature of social media, is everybody wants to tell their story without bothering to listen to the other person.
Holy cow, that was the most dramatic contrast in the amp sounds I've ever heard. I didn't even realize how shitty it sounded until the comparison. It's a good reminder of why I love this channel.
Hey, Tomaz, thank you so much for writing in. I very much appreciate that. And I do appreciate the fact that you hung around till the third mix when I did a direct comparison between the two. Because, yeah, when I'm sitting there playing it by myself and, even the first mix is like, yeah, it's not too bad. It's not too bad. Then you hear what a real speaker is supposed to sound like. It's like, oh, fuck, does that first speaker ever fucking suck? Comparisons, guys, that's where it's at. And to do really great comparisons and do accurate ones, you need to get a reamp box. Once again, I always recommend the Signal Art reamp box.
Those guys playing are pure killers. Sick performance. This was what I admire in you, Glenn, you bastard. You are cold blood, you are patient, you are waiting for dolphins in a sea of shit.
I think you were trying to say waiting for dolphins? Waiting for dolphins? I don't know, I guess either one works, but I do appreciate it. Yeah, you do wind up sifting through a lot of shit before you find some gems, but it does kind of make the effort worth it in the end. So there is that. Thanks very much.
I went to high school with a lot of those prog music major nerds who all love those bands with 12-minute, unfollowable time signature songs that I could never get into. I'm sorry, but the only people you'll be able to sell that kind of music to is other guitar nerds. Dream Theater has a huge audience. Okay, but you're not Dream Theater.
Yeah, that's the thing about modern metal. There's a lot of not Dream Theater bands out there. Wow, are they ever fucking exciting.
Worst company business model I've ever seen. I wasn't using my iRig and I wanted to give it to a friend. They wanted to charge me $25 to transfer ownership. Obnoxious and asinine are words that come to mind. Never again. Thing never worked well either. Driver situation is a nightmare. Run away.
Yeah, for those of you guys who missed it, when I was down in California, I was trying to get this going on my laptop over here, and they wanted a fucking serial number just so I could install the driver. Of course, there's no serial number on this thing anywhere, not even on the inside, where they could have put a sticker or something like that and made it easy. No. They put it on a separate card that obviously would never get lost. What a bunch of fucking bullshit. That's a real shame, because I really like a lot of the stuff IK does. They do an amazing software version of the Distressor. I reviewed it there a while back. Sounded fucking phenomenal. A lot of the IK stuff sounds great. And, I really wanted to like this thing because it's super portable and light, and I'm trying to keep the weight down when I travel. This is really important to me because I just got so much stuff I got to put in my roller bag. I've got sleep apnea, so I have to carry a CPAP machine with me, and the power supply for that, plus the power supply for my laptop. My my laptop, a camera, all that stuff. So the fact that this is just super light, I thought was going to be awesome until I actually tried to fucking use the thing. It's like, come on, I can't get your fucking heads out of your asses. Seriously, what the fuck? Make your shit easy to work with. Get rid of the stupid serial numbers just so you can install a driver, because that is fucking bullshit. Shame on you.
I think it's okay to write about your emotions. They're more complex and fluid than simple feelings such as sad, angry, and happy. Sometimes they require musical inflection to represent how the artists feel.
Yes, and sometimes when you sing about your feelings, the audience feels like falling asleep. Seriously, if I want to hear a guy sing about his feelings, I'm going to put on a Simon and Garfunkel record. If I put metal on, I don't want to hear about your fucking feelings. I want to hear about rage and war and death and cool shit like that. That's what all the Christians down in the southern US say. Fuck your feelings.
Glenn, regarding your dislike for long songs and riff salad, what do you think about Dream Theater and Opeth? Both bands are huge influences on me, so I love writing long and complex songs.
Hey, Siddharth, I don't really listen to Opeth, and I remember going to see Dream Theater on the Images and Words tour, actually, back in the early mid-90s, like 1994. Whatever Pull Me Under was a big hit. I saw them at Harpo's in Detroit, and I thought they were interesting for about 5 minutes. And then they got just really fucking boring. I mean, like, seriously, they just put me to fucking sleep. Different strokes for different folks, I guess, but I mean, like, if I want to go to a show, I want to be entertained. For that, I'd rather go see Steel Panther, because you know you're going to have an amazing time at one of their shows.
Hey Glenn, how about a video on how to hook up a hybrid hardware-software studio?
Yeah, that shouldn't be too tough. I thought I did something like that before. You need a patch bay and you need to use reinsert. I've got all this hardware here and back here and back here. The Cranboard stuff's fucking amazing too, because you can directly integrate it right into your DAW. Fucking incredible stuff if you're into the 500 series stuff. Yeah, that's probably a video that needs to be done. I can't really see that being a giant one, a giant big hit, but then again, hey, stranger things have happened. Okay, I'll throw that on the list. Maybe that can happen in the next month or two. Definitely got a lot of videos that need to be done in the meantime.
Funny you make the comparisons to movies, Glenn, as those have lost the guidebook to good storytelling as well.
Oh, I don't know what you're talking about, man. I think modern movies are amazing because they started putting identity politics into everything. I mean, that just makes for a way better movie than, like good storytelling. I mean, like Empire Strikes Back. Come on. Star Wars didn't get good till they brought in Rey, and then we got The Last Jedi. Strong female characters. That's where it's at. I tell you, fuck the good storytelling.
I have no idea how I used to stomach this channel.
Hey, Trevor, that's absolutely fine, man, because I had a random poll here on the show, and it turns out nobody can stomach being around you either. Have a nice day! All right, everybody, that's it for this episode. Thanks so much for watching, subscribing, all that stuff. And if you haven't, hit the fucking subscribe button, you lazy bastards! Anyway, keep those comments and questions coming. I'll be back on Monday for Monday Morning Mix Reviews, since I'm back in town. And yeah, we're going to be looking at those Mojo Tone speakers in a couple different cabinets and see what's up. Oh yeah, and for anybody out there who said, oh, well, I really like the sound of the 5150 cab, mine's for sale. I've got a Facebook ad up on it right now, so go hit up my page and make me an offer, you cheap fucks. Anyway, that's it for this episode. I'll see you next time, and until then, remember, the speaker is the important part, not the amp.